guys, so today I'm going to be filming a video, doing my makeup, and I'm also just going to be telling the story of how last year went from the beginning to the end. This video is going to be like a two-part video. The first part is going to be the bulk of the year, and then the second part is solely going to be like the day before we lost my sister and that day to now. Let's get started. Let me go do my eyebrows and I will be right back. So my eyebrows are done and let's just get right into this look. I don't have anything planned, so we're just gonna go with the flow. First I want to start off with back in 2019 on December 22nd, one of my best friend's boyfriend / the father of her child ended up committing suicide, and he was also a classmate of mine, and he was just, I don't know, he was very like a cool kid, not someone that you would think would commit suicide stereotypically. So that was really like a shock to all of us. So that was also like my first real time knowing someone or knowing of someone that committed suicide, and just I had to witness my friend going through that, and that just really broke my heart. It broke my heart to see his family going through that, because you know, suicide is just not something that you really think is ever going to cross your path. But in that case, it did cross my path, and I tried to do my best to be there for my friend, still to this day. So it happened on December 22nd of 2019. And then fast forward to 2020. When 2020 came about, I was like, this is my year. It is going down. Everything I want, I'm going to get. And I'm pretty sure everybody had that mindset like it was 2020. And it was my year. It was my year of pain and suffering. And that's all. Maybe like the second week of March, my aunt and uncle had a crawfish boil. I went to their house, we had a good time, and then we went to my uncle's barbershop. He did our eyebrows, and that was the last time I got my eyebrows done, by the way last year in March. And the way COVID is rising, it doesn't look like I'm getting them done anytime soon. We kind of were talking about COVID. We didn't really know what was going on. So then fast forward, like about a week or two later, I was talking to my cousin, and she was saying that my uncle was sick, his daughter. She was telling me that he wasn't really feeling good. He hadn't been feeling his best. So I was like, you know, okay, like, you know, we were just praying that he gets all right. We didn't think anything of it, because this was still kind of like middle of March. So he started getting sick, and then I think he was sick for like a week, I don't know. But I remember texting him one morning. My cousin had told me that he still wasn't feeling good. So like, hey, I'm praying for you, you know, I hope you feel better soon, love you. He texted me back, he's like, love you too. And then later on that evening, I believe, he ended up going to the hospital. He was like in the hospital for 37 days and on a ventilator for 35. It was something like that. And he ended up passing away. And that was really like when I realized that it was getting real. Like, that was my first real experience with death. I lost an aunt when I was about 10. But when I was 10, I definitely couldn't understand the concept of death. While my uncle was sick, I remember like I would go and drive past the hospital when I got off work. And I would go and sit outside the hospital for not long, but a little while, on the side where the ICU was. And I would just say a prayer for him to be healed quickly. And I remember during this time, like, God asking me, if things don't go my way, will I still trust him? And in my mind, I'm like, you know, of course I'll still trust you. But things not going my way is not an option in my mind. So that kind of really stuck with me. He was a preacher, so, and he was serious about the word. He was serious about God, and that was just not something that he played about. So I remember like just thinking, I cannot let his death pull me away from God. That's what I kept forcing myself to think, just so that I can get myself through it, and also I could help or be a help to my family as much as possible. So after that, I ended up staying by my cousin for a few weeks just to be there for them and make sure that they were okay. And after that, I went back home. Both of my sisters were staying home during COVID. My oldest sister, Faith, was here with her kids, and Hope was also here, and me. All at my mom's house. So that was just fun. Faith has 7 kids, so you can only imagine how much of a circus this house was every single day, but it was fun. That was such a good time for us. And looking back, like in hindsight, I can see how that was just God giving us some memories, because we didn't know that my sister wouldn't be here, but he knew. So when my mom says, you know, in everything give thanks, that's been like her scripture lately, and I see why, because that was just such a valuable time for us as a family, and we did cherish it while my sister was here, and even more now. So in about August, my sister and we would pack up the kids and we would go ride around where I live and look at houses, look at apartments, and just, you know, dream. Ended up coming across this apartment complex that had apartments for sale. And me and my sister, Hope, we called them. They needed like our credit check or whatever. We sent that over to them, and they needed like a proof of a job. And I was getting paid under the table, and my sister didn't have a job. So, long story short, like less than 24 hours later, they called back. They said we got approved, and we were working on a moving date. How did we get approved for this apartment? I don't know. We were not qualified for it at all. But that's another thing that I can just see. That was God giving us an opportunity, giving us some more memories. My sister and I got to live in our apartment together. We got to move in. So that was just fun. Like, it didn't make sense at the time. Like, we always would joke about it. Like, how did we end up getting this apartment with zero? Yo, when I tell you 0 qualifications, anything you need to get an apartment, we didn't have. That was just a blessing. I don't know, that was just, it's funny thinking about it because it just doesn't make sense still. We were set to move in on August 20th. We ended up moving in. We got it fully furnished thanks to the help of my mom and dad. And my sister kind of moved in before I did because I was working. At this point, I was working like 16 to 24-hour shifts at my job. I was making so much money. Like, the amount of money that I was making did not make sense. Like, it didn't make sense. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know, like, everything was just going so perfectly to an extent, minus, you know, grieving the loss of my uncle and trying to be there for my family and also be there for my friend. We got the apartment. Then my sister ended up getting a job as a substitute teacher. I ended up getting a job at a hospital. I was looking for a job because my little patients were getting older and sicker, and I didn't want to see them decline like that. So I started job hunting. Ended up getting a job at a hospital that I was not qualified for at all. Also, I didn't have any job history. I didn't really have nothing to back me up. But I ended up getting a job, which also is just like, had to be destiny, because the people that I met at my job honestly helped and are still helping me so much get through this situation. Like, I always tell them I'm just so grateful that God put them in my life at that time. Then after that, I did first, like, I kind of fell off with the job when I first got there because I was supposed to be going on a trip for Thanksgiving. I ended up not being able to go because I had just started working on November 2nd. This trip was like 2 weeks after I started the job, and it was just a whole lot of mess. So I ended up not being able to go on the trip. And looking back, that kind of hurts my feelings because that would have been my last time going on a trip with my sister. So I kind of beat myself up over that. And that is just a learning experience. Like, now I know I will never put, under any circumstances, will work come before my family or before an experience, you know? Jobs come and go. Experiences don't. You only get that once. And that led us to November. Everything was going smooth with the apartment. The rent was always paid on time. We had everything we wanted and needed. And we were just having genuinely a good time. It was me, my boyfriend, my sister, and one of her best friends. We were always together. And we really just enjoyed every bit of that apartment. We threw like a Halloween party. We carved, like, just stuff that we wanted to do, we got to do. And that was just very fun. Like, I'm so glad that we got that experience. So then they ended up coming back from the trip, and we started getting ready for Christmas. My sister and I were so excited to plan for Christmas. So like all of December, we were kind of planning, picking up little stuff here and there. And then around December 13th, that weekend, we went Christmas shopping. We decorated the whole apartment for Christmas, and we were so excited about getting gifts. Like, we were gonna do Christmas at our apartment this year with the kids, and it was just gonna be a ball. Everything just seemed so right. I didn't think that I had anything to be concerned about, and that's really where I'm gonna end the story, because now we're leading up into the time when my sister actually committed suicide, those days. So I'm gonna end the story like around December 13th. And that just goes to say, right when someone commits suicide, the first thing people want to say is, oh, check on your loved ones and be there for people and da 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 da. And I really just learned how insensitive that is to say, like, in my eyes, everything was going good. My sister was okay. There was nothing to worry about. Just because someone committed suicide does not mean that no one was there for them, or that they weren't checked on, or that they weren't having a good time. It's just, you know, a lot of people are not open about that, and a lot of people are not able to open up about that. So just be mindful when you say stuff. Stuff like that is a slap in the face. And in that same breath, I want to say, like, it also is important to be there for people. Like, witnessing my friend go through that loss and witnessing my family go through that loss just really opened my eyes to how much people are going through on a daily basis. I'm gonna try to do like a cute little winged eyeliner with the cut crease. Remember this face if I mess it up. Hopefully I don't. Let's see. That is pretty much all I have to say for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys like my makeup. I will be back with a part 2. Also, take care of yourself. Do what's best for yourself. Prioritize yourself. Don't listen to what people have to say. No one knows what you need but you. So with all of that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys soon.